check this out.
Bollywood superstars.
All set? Let's go.
Naseerbhai, if you had to choose between theatre and cinema, what would you pick?
I've always tried to divide my time equally between films and theatre because I'm hard put to make a choice if I were forced. If I were told, choose between the two, it would be a very difficult choice. I don't claim to be basically a theatre actor because I trained in both disciplines simultaneously, one after the other. I started working professionally in both. In 1975, I did my first film, and very soon after that, I did my first play on the professional stage with Satyajit Dubey. So, I can't claim that I'm a theatre actor. I never thought I'd be performing Bernard Shaw and Samuel Beckett when I'm 60 years old. I thought I'd be, singing songs and beating up villains. and thanks to nature, it's turned out that way that I've been able to do both, So, the great love I have for theatre is perhaps because I feel a deep sense of gratitude to it. It helped me find myself because I was a very confused kid. It was acting in plays which helped me find a direction in life.
Right.
And which gave me confidence in myself. So, theatre is part of my bloodstream. I would really not be able to live without it. And from when I started my career in movies, I was luckily, that was the mid-70s when these films were being made very quickly and very cheaply. So I could go into a movie, finish it off in 2 months, come back to Bombay and do a play. And so that became my way of operating. And everybody who was interested in casting me in a film was aware of that. That I've been able to fit in both. I've never had to turn down a film I wanted to do because of a play or cancel a play which I was committed to do. So I feel very, very fortunate.
And what is more satisfying for you as an actor?
In film, you are so dependent on so many other factors. If your part is not well written, you cannot do a thing to salvage it.
True.
I've seen truly great actors like Sir Laurence Olivier and Marlon Brando fail with faultily written scripts. So who the hell am I? And therefore one has turned now extremely cautious about the films that I accept.
Right.
I always was a bit snooty in my choices, you could call it that. But I'm pretty certain now about the kind of films that I want to do.
Right. And how did you get to this point?
The realization over the years that you don't act for the sake of acting. You don't act for the sake of showing off your ability. That's a very wrong reason. It's a very wrong way to look at acting. And that is what has been the besetting sin of the kind of acting that we see in our movies. Because actors act to show off how well they can act. Whether or not the film requires it. That should not be an actor's priority. What should be his priority is to contribute what he can to the project, and the project is more important than him. Unfortunately, with our star-centric industry, you can't expect any of our stars to subscribe to this view. But I have realized that an actor is not remembered for himself. He is remembered via the films he did.
Right.
The kids of today would not even be able to identify the superstar of 2 generations ago. They would not even be able to identify his face. You may reach any heights, giddy heights of success, but unless you've done movies which will stand the test of time, you are not going to be remembered. This is what I've realized. And therefore my priority today is to participate in movies which I feel will survive. In whatever capacity I may be, serving that movie, as in one scene in a film which I truly believe in, or an eponymous part, it makes no difference to me. I must feel impelled to do the movie.
Sure. And would you say that you have a good eye for scripts?
I've been wrong often enough not to delude myself about that. I have made some disastrous choices.
Right.
Which never turned disastrous for me somehow, but they could have been, for someone who was looking for success to further his career. Luckily, I've never been in that position where I've had to lose my sleep over whether my next film will run or not. The work has kept coming to me, not because I've been saleable, but because they felt I could deliver the goods.
Right, but of course, you are a good actor.
I'm a good actor, yeah, but that's not necessarily a reason for success in this industry. But when you read a script, there is no way on earth you can tell how this film will turn out. You can only respond to it like a layman, like a member of the audience. Try to see it in your head and see whether you like it or not. There have been plenty of wonderful scripts which turned out absolute rubbish on the screen, and vice versa. Scripts which I didn't expect would be anything, but yet have turned out to be great movies. So I can't claim to be a great judge of scripts. I just go by instinct. I couldn't judge my own script. I thought it was a damn good script.
And what kind of cinema do you enjoy? Personally, what kind of cinema do you enjoy?
I like exciting movies. I don't always go for the deeply philosophical kind of cinema. I think that kind of thing is overdone. And a lot of people pass off lots of rubbish as deep philosophy in cinema.
Right.
So I like exciting movies. As I said, my favorite film of all time is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Right. I love that film myself. And tell me, is that why you did Dirty Picture? Because it was a really exciting film and an exciting role?
I didn't have to think twice about it. I knew about this project. It was in the pipeline. I did know that. Bunty I've known for a very long time. Milan, since he used to assist Mahesh Bhatt. I've always been very fond of him. I was supposed to act in his film Hat Trick, but I couldn't. And after I saw it, I was very relieved that I hadn't. And then I loved his film Once Upon a Time. And then he told me over the phone, in fact, he said, I'm making this film called Dirty Picture. It's based on the life of a southern soft porn star. And I want you to play an aging superstar. So I said, yes, I'll do it. I hadn't even read the script. But just the thought of playing this part, it just appealed to me. And I said, hey, this is going to be a lot of fun. And then we did a number of look tests and so on. And, we were on the verge of making a very big mistake of parodying the character. And luckily, we did some shooting and some photographs and various costumes and wigs and moustaches and this and that. And it was Bunty, in fact, who said, no, we've got to cut through this crap. We're all having a lot of fun doing this, but this character has to be real. It cannot be a spoof. And that's what gave me the clue. And I was in complete agreement. So it's been played a little bit camp, but I have tried to make him as believable as possible. And I must say that the script helped.
I'm sure. And what about those amazing dance moves that you had to do for this character? I mean, that is not something that you do very often in films after all.
I had to practice like crazy.
Right.
It was not so much the moves themselves, it was more the attitudes that I had to strike and the body language of this character which I had to get. Something which I've always found difficult. I've been pretty pathetic in most of the songs I've done so far. I can't deny it. Except in Masoom, maybe. And that was because there was no choreographer around telling me what to do. But in almost all the songs I've done which required me to dance choreographed steps, I've made a total ass of myself. Because I didn't practice enough.
Right. And so for you, what would you say is the key difference between theatre and cinema as an actor for you?
In a play, you can look at your work a year later and figure out something that's troubling you, and you can alter it, you can improve it, you can change it, you can eliminate it, you can add something, you can, In a movie, once it's done, it's done. You have to make the right decision quickly, and I find it difficult to do that. About things in life, I can make the right decision quickly, but about my work, I find it difficult. Even over my acting, I take a lot of time over it. I'm not one of those actors who can deliver immediately. I need to chew over it, to practice it, rehearse it, digest it, work on it and so on. Only then am I ready. Yeah, I'm not a spontaneous actor.
I remember you saying in an interview that you're surprised you have survived for so long in this industry. Why would you say that?
Because I think the industry must be thinking the same thing. A lot of people in the industry must be thinking the same thing. See, I don't care for the kind of movies we make. I have made no secret of the fact that I don't care for them. I have turned down some of the biggest filmmakers in this city because I thought the films they were going to make were rubbish. And I've never been a part of the industry. I've never felt a part of that so-called fraternity. There's no fraternity, in fact. So I've never deluded myself that there is. And I don't do the kind of things they expect an actor to do. So I'm considered a bit of an oddball. They come to me despite themselves. So I'm very proud of saying I'm the only actor who exploits the film industry. I use them every now and then. Between the movies I really want to do, I do one big budget blockbuster, I put a lot of money into my bank, and then do what I like for the rest of the year.
Bollywood Superstars.
Superstars.